for opportunities to go view and to mingle the cocktail. I'll start crossing out names who's going or coming for cocktails. Ms. Kachiongwa?
So good afternoon. I'll try and maybe rephrase the questions, but if I am a bit out of line, just I'll redirect and ask again. So the first comment was made by Mr. Moses from the Okakarara VTC. Yes, and the request was for BIPA to avail training material, but also maybe capacity of staff members who can attend and do the training. So I was thinking the only challenge that we have is it depends on when the request is made, because we have to plan, we have to budget, and we have to make sure that it falls within our schedule. So I think the best thing we can do is if we receive the request early enough and we have the dates of when some of these events are happening and we can coordinate, we can do it. Also, if it is that the demand is across most VTCs, then I think for me what is important is to find maybe a coordinating engagement where we can then say, okay, this VTC, that VTC, when do we do it, to align it to your curriculum also, and when you want the intervention to happen. So I think it's an important discussion that we can have and we can coordinate at least. But I remember, and I explained also that it was short notice and so on, but we can do it. It shouldn't be a problem. The other one, so the question was with respect to cooperatives. And the one who made that comment is 100% right, because when you find issues of cooperatives, they are only under the Ministry of Agriculture. Now, we have, maybe it's oversight, we have not dealt with it with the current amendments of the law, because we need to have the engagement with the Ministry of Agriculture, as it is their mandate to try and understand. And also understanding that sometimes cooperatives are not only in the agriculture sector, although it is everywhere, but you find that in other countries you do have cooperatives under, like in South Africa, they're under the, under CIPC, yeah. So I think it's a consideration. I've taken note, and we have to have the engagement with agriculture to do that. The other question, and I wanted to understand it nicely, is from the lady with the red. So the first issue you raised was that there is a project that you are running, and the project is being run under the auspices of the specific VTC. So it belongs to the VTC. And whatever you do then falls under the IP of the VTC. Because what we are trying to train, we have agreements with the University of Namibia, NAST, IUM, where we are training them on a program called TISC, is tertiary institutions. So we are training them on the concept of how to work with IP, the types of arrangements that you can have where you have a student or you have a professor who does some innovation. Either it solely belongs to the institution or there is some sharing where the inventor can take the product and start a business of their own. So we teach them about the IP policy, help them draft the policies and so on. So it seems that it would be good for the VTCs also to benefit from that, because that's what you engage in. But in this case, I think the advice that was given was not on point. And it is really because we don't have offices in the regions. And even if we have them, we use the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade to facilitate. But the skills or the know-how, we have not equipped them with it, especially in the area of IP. Really, we have a serious problem because the only office where we have IP is in Windhoek. Even the Walfish Bay office that we've set up, we don't have. But we are working towards that. So my understanding is, you can see government registers businesses. They create a private arm and it would run the businesses. So it is possible. And when you talk about beneficial owner, yes, there's a requirement, you must say who's the owner. Now, if government is represented by, whether it's the minister, or it is the head of the VTC, that suffices to be the beneficial owner. Because that's how you identify that the shareholder will be 100%, because if I have to tell you, if BIPA is registered, then the shareholder will be 100% government. It would be maybe the Minister of Industrialization and Trade. It doesn't matter because the ministers change, but it's that portfolio. And then if you want beneficial ownership, they will say, for example, the senior manager, who would be the CEO, they become, or they would even add board members. So it's easy to identify. I think it's, and the issue with beneficial ownership, it's new. So every time we try to improve and to share the information. But if you have challenges, you can always engage me, then we see. So it shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to do the registration. Then did I cover it all, MD? Yes.
Before I come to you, I'll only allow 2 questions, 1 per person. We are running behind time. I'm sorry, but this time I'm going to be strict because we had decided that all the questions prior or directed to how we do them before lunch, she has time to digest them. We are running behind the program. I'll start with the gentleman in the uniform. You had 1 question, sir? Oh, it's covered? Okay, then 1 second, Taten. It's a question for her? Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you, Sai, for the question. The issue of viability for all our infrastructure, I think the first thing here is the ministry mandate is to improve the environment, business environment. So, but that being said is that we also have to go through the planning processes of government. And normally these requests have to come, it's a bottom-up approach. The needs from the community that has to go through all the levels of governments, then it comes to our offices so that we implement such projects. Now, so now you can also understand that there is also a component of social aspect on it for us to create that conducive environment for business to proliferate in those areas. So, but now on economic viability, then that's how we bring in our agency, which is NIDA. NIDA is tasked with the responsibility to run this infrastructure on a business principle. So meaning they have to derive some money, but not as in the private sector. That's why you will see that most of our infrastructure charges that we do per square meter, for instance, it's not as in the private sector. We will be maybe below $50 million per square. But we expect that NIDA should be able to run those businesses, those infrastructure on business principle, and for them to maintain the infrastructure. That's very key. The last issue that you asked on the requirements, the requirements are not that stringent, but what we are doing is that at least the business have to be registered. And it should also have some mandatory documents. Mandatory documents, we mean it should be registered as an employer. It should also be a good citizen with a collector of revenue. It should be also affirmative kind of in terms of employment, gender-wise. Those are the basic mandatory requirements. But if you are in business, those are the basic things that you have to have in place, even when you are doing public contracts. And the other thing also, there should be a business account. Yeah, bank account. So basically, that's what we do.
The gentleman at the back, I'm assuming your question is directed to our BIPA all right? Just push it up. So once you're done, you push it down.
Thank you. It's just a follow-up question to Madam Kashiongwa on deploying BIPA officials to go and impart business registration skills to, for example, artisans. Are there cost implications to that? If we are to invite you to Ongenga to come and train some young people there to assist with business registrations, are there cost implications there?
The lights here, it's so hot here. so it depends on when you make the request. We try to carry the cost ourselves because then we budget and plan to go out on advocacy and outreach programs. But sometimes the request comes when we've already done the budgeting and we don't have the resources. So it would be, for example, the DSA of the staff member, you provide accommodation for them just to be there. But normally we try, that's why I said the emphasis is we need to engage so that if you make your request early, we can see to what extent we can budget for it and what other contribution may be required. Thank you.
Please, a hand of applause to Ms. Kachiongwa. Thank you so much. I think all the entrepreneurs, including myself, who is not exactly one, we've learned so much today from BIPA and about BIPA. So I just need an indication from the people at the back. Okay, our next presenter is, I'm sounding like I'm about to give a prize, but our next presenter is Ms. Susan Biekas. She is going to discuss about business compliance and tax. I see she's online. She is the Northern Regional Operations Officer. I'm not seeing much. Okay, let me see. Yeah, she's the Regional Manager for the Northern regions with NamRA. I'm sure the new people want to hear more about NamRA. So we'll give Ms. Susan, Mrs. Biekas, a round of applause as we welcome her online. You can proceed, ma'am. And welcome.
All right. Thank you very, very much. It's an honor to serve on this platform and to share the mandate of NamRA, just so that people are equipped of the type of services that we provide, and also with a mere indication to say, you are the new graduates, please, NamRA, because together that we have economical sustainability. Without you, the few of us that has the knowledge, it would not sufficient. We will not, it's not suffice. So therefore, we encourage you to listen with an open heart and an open mind. Here we just want to share the mandate of NamRA, what is our purpose, and how best you as the new graduates could probably fit into the establishment of NamRA and help us build and ensure that we sustain and ensure economical development. Thank you. All right. Very first one that, why is my slide not moving? Okay, we'll be presenting from Oshakati Regional Office. Now, who are we? What are we all about? Who is NamRA? NamRA is an agency that was established in of 2017, the autonomous body. People may say NamRA is a new entity. No, it's not. Previously, we used to be IRD, it means domestic tax, in the Inland Revenue Department under the Ministry of Finance, and the Customs and Excise Department also under the Ministry of Finance. We have merged and became the Namibian Revenue Agency, as it is established by all the other legislation so provided. Our vision is to be a world-class revenue agency, serving with passion, with a positive impact on the livelihood of every Namibian. While we have our mission to ensure that we administer and enforce the tax systems laws of Namibia with consistency, fairness, efficiency, effectiveness, an effort to mobilize domestic revenue. Our values includes integrity, efficiency, diversity, fairness, and agility. How can we create this agility? By sharing information on every and any platform that is available. The laws that governs our operation is the Income Tax Act of 1981, a value-added tax, our VAT, Act number 10 of 2000, Customs and Excise Act 20 of 1998, Duty Transfer Act number 14 of 1993, Stamp Duty Act number 15 of 1993, Petroleum Act number 3 of 1991. So those are two of the laws that's governing our operations. Our mandate as customs or as NamRA is that we are responsible for the administering of tax, customs and excise laws in Namibia to ensure that we assess and collect duties and taxes on behalf of the state, receive and record all state revenue on behalf of the state, improve service delivery to taxpayers, promote compliance with the revenue laws, provide customs and excise services that facilitate trade, maximize revenue collection, and protect Namibian borders from illegal importation and exportation of goods, and equally to advise the administrators on matters relating to the tax administration. Where are we situated? Where can you get us? Within the domestic department, we have 7 regional offices. In the customs department, domestic tax 7, customs department, we have 5 regional offices. This is where you can find us in the Kavango West, Kavango East, Zambezi, Otjisenjupa, Khomas, Erongo, and Harda, and the Karas for customs. In domestic taxes, we have 12 satellite offices. We have been highlighting them and towards the end of August, we opened another one in Opuo. That's the one that's just recently launched. We have one in Inanna, Otapi, Opuo, and Omathia. That's for domestic. Now, when we talk domestic tax, that is now our income tax. That is our personal tax. On any cent that you earn, we have to pay an income. Why is it important? Because every cent that you pay is contributing to the sustainability of our government. Even the small child on the street is paying tax. Buying a sweet, tax is already levied on it. So equally, them is contributing to ensure that the day that we reach the age of maturity in 60, that we have that state pension fund to ensure that we can ensure that we take care of ourselves. That is the care that the government is providing. We're providing free medical services at our state hospitals. Even during the time of COVID, I believe the state hospitals was your best opportunity to survive because the state hospitals is the only hospitals that had oxygen available. So the type of tax, when we talk of income tax, we have, in the northern region alone, we have 115,000. When we talk of value-added tax, we have 3,500. VAT import tax, that is 1,095. Employee tax, it's 893. And the total of that is 123,000. That's our space. Now, our debt counted in July, at the end of July, was 35,000. So when we look at that, out of that 35,000, there is 1.9 billion. That is your capital debt. And then we have our interest, and we also have our penalties. When we say our interest, that is 15% of our debt. The capital debt is in totality 1.5 billion. Interest is 1.9 billion. Our penalties is 5.2 billion, which will all be written off. Approximately, we look here at least almost 7 billion off. We are compliant. That is what was agreed and I have put out. So, therefore, zero returns and under declarations. Zero returns must be submitted. All the revised returns to be submitted. The deadline was in June. Under the declarations, debit return also subjected to audits. So if you have submitted the zero returns, you will be audited to validate that you did not need it to pay tax. We need to validate that. So if you had paid that, we refund you. If you did not pay, that we should collect what is due to state. Now, the integrated tax system, that's our ITAS. We encourage everybody to ensure that they participate in this program because it's an online program. You can upload in the comfort of your home. You can upload all your documentation and you have 24 hours access account. They've been knowing you are late in submission of any returns, whether you are lacking a documentation that is supposed to be supporting your return. So this self-service facility is an online filing system with a single view of the taxpayer's account, accelerating the process of tax forms within a real-time notification on the outcomes of your submissions. We have our tax amnesty program that's running until next year. So therefore, we encourage everybody, you have until October 2024 to submit your returns. If you say your capital debt is 24,000, but in totality it's 400,000, once you have paid that 40,000, the rest will be written off. So therefore, we encourage that the capital amount that you owe is settled as soon as possible. If you are a company that are operating and possibly want to have a tender, please do come and pay at least a minimum amount, a certain percentage of capital debt, and then make payment arrangements. Then the tax department will issue you with your tax compliance certificate for you to be able to participate in any tenders that are out there. So, and once you have paid off the full capital amount, all the debt, the rest of your debt, be it now your interest or your penalties, will be written off. When we talk of customs, customs is like your first window entering into the country because they are responsible to ensure that everybody that enters or leaves Namibia are compliant with Namibian legislation regarding to importation and exportation. We are accountable for 5 regions in the northern region. That's the Mati, Ongwediva, Oshana, Oshikoto, part of the Ochijon and Kunene. So we have 2 regional offices, Oshakati and Oshikango, 3 railways, 4 borders, and 1 airport. We're all about ensuring that we have stakeholder engagement. Through that, we will ensure that we have voluntary compliances. Because without sharing information, we cannot expect people to be compliant. Then we are totally collaborative with other agencies, all the other border agencies. We have immigration that is in control of the movement of people. Namibian police to ensure that they maintain law and order. The road fund administrator who's to collect all charges on foreign registered vehicles. Veterinary or meat border. That ensures the movement of agricultural product is maintained. Port health for the monitoring of health and health of our travelers. Now, this is just some pictures how we did some stakeholder engagement. We had the launch of the OPU office We have the stakeholder engagement in Ongwediva trade fair. We even have, as you can see here with the kids, in orphanage homes, in our awareness. We go to them. We tell them, thank you. Even though you may not have a steady income, but yet you are purchasing good from a shop. So indirectly, you are contributing to the revenue that is being collected. So that is part of our social responsibility. The picture below that one of the orphanage home there is the community Kashemane. And on your far right-hand side, you would see the police and customs officials standing there. Those are the fuels that are being confiscated because they are not compliant. They have been smuggled through the border lines. So those are all the type of duties that customs is executing. Now, when we talk of clearance process of import or export goods, it says that all export transited goods are required to be compliant with customs clearance facilities or formalities. When we say being compliant, we talk of vehicles, we talk of foodstuff, we talk of clothing, we talk of fuel, we talk of equipment. So failure to comply will result in a penalty or penalties issued or goods detained or seized. Those are just some pictures. Those are the macaroni and whiskies that's been smuggled in. Second picture is all about cigarettes when we conducted the destruction. When we do conduct these destructions in terms of our section 100, the disposing of goods that are forfeited or seized, normally the relevant authorities, like in this Ministry of Health, they are required to be present with the environmentalists to ensure that we do not pose any harm to our environment. Now, when vehicles are imported or exported into Namibia, we need a tax invoice, a SAPCO clearance, the export documentation, deregistration documentation, vehicle's registration certificate, our SAD 500, that's our single administrative document, and the vehicle should not be older than 12 years for now. This 12 years will also lapse. Is issued in terms of the Import and Export Act, so held by the Ministry of Trade and Industrialization. Requirements on second-hand clothing. Underwear and footwear is totally prohibited due to health reasons. The Ministry of Health totally does not permit any underwear or second-hand underwear or second-hand shoes to be imported. So the import code for second-hand clothing is 63090017. Therefore, you require import permit from MIT, your export documentation, the fumigation certificate from the export country, and your SAD 500. Importation of mango and beans. Please, there are no duties applicable on mango, not at all. It's zero. In terms of customs duty, in terms of VAT, we charge any duties, not taxes on that. So for the ease of the importation thereof, on the 22nd of August, the Ministry of Trade then agreed all small-scale importers can import from 200 to 500 kilograms of maize meal or mahango per person per month for commercial purposes, or 200 kilograms per person for personal usage. And that photosanitary requirement, your fumigation, your manufacturing certificates, those are not required within a radius, if it was obtained in a radius of 60 kilometers from the border. So they are exempted from that. When we talk firewood, there's also quite a big challenge on firewood. Firewood is protected by the Environmental Management Act and by Ministry of Environment. So therefore, and CITES, we are a signatory to CITES. Therefore, we are obligated to ensure that we protect this. Anything that is distinct or that we are smuggling with is normally listed and then it's protected. Therefore, trading with wood, unprocessed wood or firewood, one must have an export permit. Sorry. Mustn't have an export permit, import permit, photosanitary certificate, SAD 500, where only VAT is applicable. Now, just a few to be listed. Of the trees is the camelthorn, boabab, the walcure, the sambizic teak, the mopani, the leadwood, the marula, and the tambuti. These are mostly secure. It's because it's having health components in it, and it takes very long to grow. If people are chopping it down without protecting it, we will be without these trees in a very short time. Now, when we talk of actions on import or export restrictions or prohibited goods, when we talk of restricted goods, it's freely declared. If the import permit or license is produced, then it is allowed to be imported. If no permit, the goods will be detained for 14 days, provided the person comes back with an import permit. Then we give them another 90 days before the goods are safe. When it's not declared, and it was with the intent to evade the restrictions, the goods are not released, and then the actions are taken. Pardon? When it is prohibited, the goods are normally seized, and then normal action is then taken. If it is drugs or like the fuel that's being smuggled, it's officially then handed over to the police. In the case of worn shoes or prison-made goods, these goods are freely declared. They are normally then refused entry, or they are seized in terms of Section 98 and 99 of the Customs and Excise Act. Now, what are the opportunities within NamRA? NamRA is very diverse. There's a vast field of opportunities. We have lawyers, we have wellness officers, we have HR practitioners, we have legal officers, we have enforcement officers, we have risk officers, security officers. So the field is very vast, because we want to ensure that every Namibian is part of the team that is promoting security, facilitating trade and ensuring compliance, enforcing international instruments, creating leading expert in the enforcement realm. Because the customs environment is so vast. I'm 32 years in this field, and I have not been bored, not 1 minute, because every day you learn, every day something new is on the ground. So the way forward for us is to continue engaging and informing our stakeholders, sharing information, educate and discuss consumers dissuade consumers from buying counterfeit goods, fostering cooperation with other law enforcement agencies, nationally, regionally, and internationally, promoting legitimate, facilitate trade, control the movement of goods. Because Henry Ford says, coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is a process, is progress. Working together is success. So with that, I conclude my presentation, and I thank you. Paying tax is not a punishment, it's a responsibility. So stated by Chris Matthews. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Beekes. Let me just check if somebody has a question for you. Any questions for Madam Beekes while she's online? The entrepreneurs, you are very quiet. You know how to submit your tax returns? Madam Beekes, you did a very good thing or good job, because everybody seems to be very satisfied with what the information that you just shared. So with that, we'll just give you a round of applause, and thank you so much for gracing us. Even if it's online, we learned a lot. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you much.
All right, all right. It seems like people are now getting ready for the cocktail. I knew with the cocktail everybody would be ready for it. Our next speaker is Mr. Julius David. Mr. Julius David is the founder and managing director of both Vinduk Accounting and Taxation and Gauteng Accounting and Taxation. So his profile is distinguished by strategic mindset and a wealth of experience encompassing business management, accounting, and taxation. See, I was looking at, it says mindset. I had to look at his hair a bit. So there's so much happening there. Welcome, Mr. Julius.
Thank you.
All right. So, is your...
Okay.
Okay, this is... See, I think it's coming.
Okay.
So the pointer itself doesn't work.
See?
The pointer. It's not working, but the next and...
Where can I get some water?
Okay, we actually brought you some water here.
Okay, this is working.
So you have... You need more water?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And how does it go on and off? This.
Did we submit your presentation?
Yes. How does it?
We're supposed to be controlling it from there.
Even this, eh?
It doesn't go off, but we just have to.
Okay.
Okay. Can we have Mr. David? There you go.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, please. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. It looks like I'm the one that's going to be between you and the cocktail, so I'm not going to be long. My name is Julius David. My name is Julius David. I run a couple of companies, but for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to focus primarily on three. One is Windhoek Accounting and Taxation, and the second one is Gauteng Accounting and Taxation in Joburg, South Africa. And the third one is IBN Immigration Solution, where we have offices in Namibia, South Africa. We have offices in Nairobi, Kenya, and we also have offices in Maputo, Mozambique. I'm going to speak to you about entrepreneurship. See, a lot of time we complicate entrepreneurship with unnecessary jargon, but entrepreneurship is simply just what our grannies have been doing, who have been selling the junkies, and which is how they were able to send us to school. And sorry, I'm just trying to find my notes. Yes, so yeah, a lot of time we complicate entrepreneurship, but then entrepreneurship is simply really just you're buying and selling of goods, right? Then you apply, like for your TVET graduates or your TVET students, you then apply what you are learning or what you have learned, and then you apply your skills so that you are able to get your product to your clients, and also you apply your skills that you learn through your TVET so that you are able to get your product to your clients. And I'm doing this for the first time, guys, so I think you really need to be very easy on me. So there's an article on funding that was availed for vocational training in Namibia. And the end result of it is that it does increase training completion. People do participate, but in the end, it does not increase employment. So in the end, it's really up to us as graduates or as students to go out there and create employment. Now, the role that we as entrepreneurs and thank you. So the role that we as entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs plays in the economy Okay, I'm going to jump a couple of things, and I'm really just going to get to the challenges that entrepreneurs mostly face, which is really access to funds, right? Now, as entrepreneurs, it's extremely hard for us to access funding when we are out there doing business. And part of the reason why it's extremely hard for us to access funding, sometimes it's because the funding is not there, and sometimes it's just because we don't have access to the information. So what I'm going to share with you here is really just some of the areas or some of the institutes where you can access or where you can approach and be able to find funding. And what we can see here within the Ministry of Trade, we have the equipment aid scheme that they run, where they would fund you for equipment so that you can run your business or so that you can start your business. And then we also have the industrial upgrade modernization program, which has an annual allocation of 10 million. That's still under the Ministry of Trade. And next we have Ministry of Youth, which have a couple of different programs that they run, including the basic business management. They have a couple of loans, a couple of grants, and we also have DBN who have different schemes that they are running where entrepreneurs can access funding or mentorship. They currently have a program called monitoring and mentoring and coaching, where entrepreneurs can be linked to mentors and coaches so that they can be trained on how to go about their businesses. And they also have a venture capital fund that they recently opened, whereby entrepreneurs can also approach the Development Bank of Namibia for funding. They also have a credit guarantee scheme, which is also another vehicle available for entrepreneurs to access funding. And we also have the National Youth Council, which have different programs that entrepreneurs can also access funding. And under the Environmental Investment Fund, they have a couple of programs where entrepreneurs can access funding. Some are grants, some are loans. And we also have the we also have the Mineral Development Fund, where entrepreneurs can access funding, and for that, there's an annual budget of 1.8 million. And with Environmental Investment Fund, there's annual budget of 11.4 million, both through loan and grant. Let me just... I'm just taking you back again to one of my previous slide that speak to funding that has been availed to Namibia for the purpose of training our people, specifically in the vocational training area. But what you would then find, and this is what this study revealed, is that the participation is extremely high, but it does not increase employment. And in essence, what it really means is that even the training that you would get from school through the vocational training education, it equips you with the knowledge and the guidance that you need so that you can go out there and start a business. But you still need to apply yourself as an entrepreneur and go out there to go about your business. Okay? This is it, guys. Thank you.
See if we have questions for you. Any questions for Mr. Julius David? Or David Julius? Julius David. Any questions? All right. Okay. Yes, sir.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Fernando Gashwet John, the director and the founder for Ngato VTC. You know, when many people come and present, they always present nice things and good things to us, but then there is nothing for us, mainly us youth. I would like to ask and to be guided well by your presentation there. I saw you spoke about Ministry of Trade on a equipment aid scheme. Do you have any information that you can answer now, or you have to refer us? Because this topic, it's really a big topic that is somewhere, somehow putting us down. Let me put it this way. 5 years ago, this Ministry of Trade used to give this equipment. At some point, they stopped. Before I introduced a VTC, I was into construction. I applied for equipment. And then I was given a letter to say, you will get into the next financial year, because what we have asked now, the money is not enough. In 2012, then I introduced a VTC. And then I was still given another letter that you will be getting into the next financial year. And then somewhere in 2013, 2014, these programs, it was removed for some other reasons. And we have been engaging these ministries here and there. And now they came back this year. As we speak, there was 2 or 3 adverts going on to say artisan, those who have level 3, the same thing that we were talking about yesterday, should apply to get equipment. And then they came with a condition to say the minimum that they can give, the maximum that they can give is 30,000. And now they put the condition also that those people can apply, they should be into the area of manufacture. I think there's manufacturing and mainly on manufacturing. For a VTC like us, you registered into training. Now they are saying you cannot apply because you are not doing directly manufacturing. Now I want to understand from you, when you are putting it there, there is no those conditions to say, no, this equipment is only given to those who are doing manufacturing, because when you are in training, you use this equipment for training for the student. Now, in the same area again, Ministry of Youth and Sport, it's the same thing again that we applied. When we started, we applied for funding, and we were told that, no, I have letters for rejection, that no, you are not a youth. You do not fall on the department of what? On the area of youth. So I don't really understand where can a person get this funding, which sometimes you mention money, for example, billions and what, we always hear about them. But these fundings, to be honest, they are not accessible to the youth. Because why I'm saying so, if there is another way around of how to apply for them, and that way we are not aware, or maybe there's a difference of how we are applying or putting these papers together. Maybe we should get your contact well so that you can assist us to get this funding very well. Yeah, okay, let me just stop there because... Yeah, okay. Okay, mainly what I just want to say is that these fundings which are available, which they are saying are available for the youth, we are not getting these fundings. We are not getting them. Because whenever we apply, for example, yesterday I spoke about me needing equipment for 2.5 million. When I apply in 2012.
What's the question? Do you want guidance on
yes, how to apply? Yeah.
Time-wise, let's keep the questions concise, because when it's surrounded by so much statement, I don't think even the speaker will know where to. So let's keep it simple and really focus on the question.
Yeah, maybe to give us contacts how to go so that we can be able to apply and be successful.
There was the second, before I come to you, Doc, yes, the gentleman here.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Steven Angonga, again from Valambla VTC, the trainers of trainees. I am asking this question on behalf of the entrepreneurs. I read their mind. I'm not an entrepreneur myself. Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful question. Perhaps can you share the success story with our entrepreneurs? Your path, how did you get yourself into international market? Because you said you have offices in Mozambique, South Africa, and perhaps other countries. Share your success story, please. They want to know. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Doc. May I just remind, especially our previous speaker, remember the gentleman is running his own business, sharing his experience. It's not that he's from trade or he's not necessarily representing the ministries. Just keep that in mind.
Thank you. Gentlemen, you did very good. I know what it means to stand in front for the first time, but you did very good. Just to help him to clarify on the grants that the Ministry of Youth, Sport and National Service offers. I'm from that ministry. I'm the Commissioner for National Youth Service. Last year we gave about 28 youth from different regions. We gave them about 8 million. There's a fund that the Prime Minister has availed under the 121 constituency youth projects. Last week we were also here. I don't know who was there at the sports stadium. There were about 8 regions that also came. They were beneficiaries of different schemes, including startup capital and also equipments. So what you need to do is to put yourself together as a group. You visit our regional offices. We have regional offices all over the country. You go to any youth officer, they will help you to put your business together properly. But you need to meet also all the legal requirements that we referred to earlier, the BIPA, the NamRA, and all that what is required. And then it goes through a process of selection. But we try to ensure that by the end of, I think, 2024-25, all the 121 constituencies in the country would have benefited. So far, we have covered about 28 constituencies. And there are people really who could be invited and tell you their stories. So that funding is still available. But you must be within that category. up to 35. If you are above 35, like the gentleman, I don't know how old he is. If you are above 35, already it's a disqualifier. But what you could do as VTCs, and that's what we are doing at NYS. We try to put them together to form cooperatives so that, like now we have invited Agribank, I don't know where they are. Next week they are going to be teaching our people how to compile business plans and how to source funding so that once they graduate, like next week we have a graduation, then they can use that business concept to immediately approach a funder, and through that they can start their own businesses. So you did very good. I think people must be encouraged to read that article. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Jonathan. I would like to ask David, within your business, is there opportunity where our trainees can access to? I'm referring to now accounting service. We very well know that accounting and law is one of the expensive service. So is there any platform where our trainees can access to, be it on a free service or a very, very low cost price? Because you see, we have a lot of companies, people are registering companies, some of them tendering even don't know, or when they tender on a lower cost, and at the end they will not even finish the projects because they underquote the costing. So is there any possibilities maybe our trainees can access to, or to assist them in that way? Because companies are going to be formed, but that part, it's a problem. Is there possibilities for our trainees, but in mind that they don't have money, and we are a young Namibian who should be able to assist, perhaps? Thank you.
Yes. So perhaps I should just start with the first question. The gentleman who asked with regard to the equipment aid scheme, which falls under the Ministry of Trade. Like she rightfully said, I'm not from the ministry, but I will give you some guidance to the knowledge, to the best of my knowledge. Last I checked, there is an annual allocation of up to 96 million for equipment aid scheme. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of us around the country that are looking for that. So your best bet is really to approach the ministry. I understand there are also members from the ministry here that might be able to add on my answer. But it could be that your application that you are referring to from some times back, perhaps it did not make it, and that doesn't mean that you should stop trying. Because unfortunately, it's very limited resources to a whole lot of us that are all looking for opportunities. Yes. And I think maybe just to the second gentleman with your question on how I was able to access the international market. I was always very fortunate, and I'm probably learning today that my area is probably always going to be the boardroom and not really in front of a big crowd like this. And but I've always been very, very fortunate to be presented with opportunities with international players, primarily because, as you have seen, part of my businesses are run an immigration business where we help mostly corporate that are coming in the country. And most of the time when corporate personnel are coming in the country and they need guidance or assistance on visas and permits, sometimes they need partners. And also, with the accounting firm, where we assist businesses with business registration, I'm at the gateway. So because of that, I've always been very fortunate, and I've always been able to get opportunities through the international market. Thank you.
I don't know if there's any question that was not touched. Oh, the last question? Okay.
So yes, on the last question, which is really to say, if through our accounting, Windhoek accounting and taxation, if we have any services that would be able to cater for be it TVET graduate or TVET students, yes. Windhoek accounting is primarily for SMEs. So our pricing are catered for SMEs, and we also have a program whereby we bring in graduate, we bring in interns who can then assist people like yourself who are not able to come up with the full fees, and through that, I think we'll be able to assist you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Julius. I think a couple of these entrepreneurs will be coming your way just for coaching and yeah. All right. On this point, I would like to call upon Dr. Kloppers because she has an announcement from NUST. Announcement by Dr. Kloppers from the Namibian University of Science and Technology. It's an exciting announcement, so please don't leave before.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I have a very short announcement to make regarding an event that the Department of TVET is having at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. I'm from the Department of Technical and Vocational Education and Training. So we are hosting an annual TVET, or it's the first annual TVET conference on the week of the 23rd of October, that whole week. So this is a first conference for us, especially the TVET department, and also while there are similarities with this conference, this is a bit more academic in nature. So we are very excited to have this conference. And this conference is actually in response to the 2021 revised TVET policy, which talks about building research capacity and supporting the research and innovation efforts of the TVET sector. So this is a response to that. Now, usually we are told that how can you bring TVET, how can you bring academic research into TVET? So one of the things that we have done is we have recently done a pilot project with the support of GIZ, where we did specialized training for vocational training centers, where we have now trained them on design-based research, design-based thinking. This is now to produce prototypes like this. So what we have now done is we have our main task is to train and upskill the trainers. That is what we are there for. So with the pedagogical skills, management skills, and very soon we will also focus on upskilling them to level 6 and higher. So that's what we are working very hard towards. But if we want our trainees to start developing things like that, it starts with our trainers, and that is where our focus is. How can they become innovators in their own field, because then they would be able to work with their students. So we're very excited about this event. It is going to be, especially the prototypes with the VTCs, that will be done on Thursday, where we will be having a competition among the VTCs. So the prototypes will be judged on merits of social innovation, technology transfer, and elements of how can you use this now to promote entrepreneurship. So we can't all be selling and doing the same things. You need to have, you need to capture a niche market. And so these kind of innovations are really what is going to help you if you're now aspiring to be an entrepreneur. So, so we will also have the industry there, and we want to also have collaboration between the VTCs, the university, and the industry, especially because once you've developed a prototype, it needs to be developed. Someone has to fund it and to develop it further. And this is one of the initiatives that we have started, and we will do that more and more, especially from next year. And our theme for this conference is repositioning TVET as a driver for industrialization in Namibia. If you look at the TVET policy, it specifically talks about how do we need to, we have the position of TVET, but in order to get the benefits that TVET can bring into the country, we need to look at how to reposition it. So we also have some sub-themes that we are working on. So you will see we are looking at how do we foster research and innovation practices? How do we advocate for inclusiveness? Now, when we are talking about inclusiveness, we are talking about gender. And we were told that we should use, what is the correct term? Differently abled people. So this is really critical. We are not talking enough about this. How do we make education more inclusive so that they also are able to participate in society? And of course, we have talked a lot about employability. Through work-integrated learning, we have talked about promoting entrepreneurship. So now we're going to look at it from more a research aspect. Mr. Indongo presented the key findings on the tracer study that was done. So if you want to hear more about it again, we have asked him to also present there. And also lifelong learning. Now, as you have seen, technology is constantly changing, so that means we have to constantly learn. What you did last year may not be applicable this year or even last month. Technology is moving very fast. How do we develop those skills of lifelong learning? And greening TVET is also another very contemporary topic that is currently we are looking at. And when we are talking about greening TVET, you might have heard about the green hydrogen, the renewable energy, but it touches across. If you want to talk about it, touches across in agriculture, but basically it's linked to the Sustainable Development Goals. As we develop the country, we need to make sure our activities are environmentally friendly and we don't kill our earth while we are developing. And also digitalization. There was a presentation on digitalization, especially with e-learning, but digitalization is much more broader. It's not just about teaching, it also talks about your processes. How can we integrate technology into your business processes so that it's much more efficient? So digitalization is a very broad topic. So we have quite a number of key speakers. And one of the things that we want to do with this conference is that we really want to bring to the forefront the Namibian researchers. What we have seen is there is research happening in Namibia about TVET, but where do you find this research? Who are the researchers? Do you know, if I ask you to name one prominent Namibian researcher in TVET, would you be able to mention somebody? So there are people who are doing research, but we're not talking enough about this. So we want to create this platform to bring the different stakeholders. So we have the university, we have the industry, and also we want to focus on the pre-vocational also. Pre-vocational, as you know, vocational is now starting at schools. We need to make sure that they are also part of the discussion. The resource schools, all these are TVET players, and some of them are actually excluded from a lot of activities. So we're really looking forward to this platform, and my task here is very simple. It is to extend the invitation to you. This will be in Windhoek at the country club. So we are still taking in registrations. There is, I've put up the website. So if you go to the website, I think it's on the next slide, please, the website. You can go to the website. There's more information. If you want to have an exhibition stand or you want to do a presentation, we are quite flexible as this is our first conference. You will see there is a number for inquiries. There's an email address. So it's going to be a hybrid event. So if you can't be there physically, please join us online. We will stream it. There will be live streaming for the conference for the 5 days. And another highlight will also be we are launching a TVET journal. So this is a journal for our department where we want to now showcase the research that is being done in Namibia, but we will also have a repository. For example, the research that NTA is doing, this is the one that Mr. Ndongo presented, it's very valuable. If our key stakeholders have to make decisions, it must be based on data, it must be evidence-based. But sometimes you don't know where to find this research. I want to do something, and sometimes we end up duplicating. But more than that, good research is supposed to challenge you and to bring more questions. So what we are hoping is that out of this research, we will have more questions, we will have more research ideas, we will have more concepts that we can engage together and find solutions for TVET. If we want to move the sector forward, all the expertise needs to come together, and you might have heard about the wisdom in the crowd. There's a lot of expertise, and when we bring all the different players together, we find solutions and we can move forward. So all the graduates who have done the presentations, you are also welcome. So either you join online or face-to-face, all of you are welcome. Thank you very much.
I know Dr. Clopas made reference to this. Ooh, mercy. Is there someone stronger? I just want us to put it there. Just to show. Do you see it was a convertible cupboard? When you choose, it can be a chair. Yes. So this is one of the products of one of our graduates. And for today, it is going for 800 if you want to take it home with you. Because we don't want them to go back with it. Look at this wood, guys, honestly. Have you seen that? Mercy. It's not broken. The good thing is its quality. Did you see it didn't break? That wood, 800, it's going for sale. We don't want the child or the graduate to go back home with it. So please, yes. On our next program, two representatives of our graduates and entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, they want to give a vote of thanks. We are doing really good with time because we've had a couple of cancellations, so we are, trust me, we are all going to have those cocktails. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to. So the two representatives, please come and give a vote of thanks. Hand of applause.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Once more again, it was a great lunch, but I didn't join you. I had mine outside. We really wanted to appreciate, as we also had our opening speech, just to demonstrate the fact that we are also part of this nation, and our role is very, very important to build the economy. And now we want to also appreciate the whole issue that we were just talking, we were just engaging. The technical guys don't talk. We just build, we just construct. That's how we are. The time that we are talking is when there's an error, when there's an error on a construction site. If the instruction was given and you did mess, now you look at how much it will cost you to rectify the mess. That's what happens in tendering process. You are told to build a building, then the inspector comes and you demolish. It's on your expense. So thank you so much, and I'm going to read one of the closing remarks, an appreciative information or report or message. On behalf of TVET graduates and their SMEs, we appreciate the organizer for taking care of us during the time of our stay in Oceania region. To the Oceania Regional Council, by the Office of the Governor, Honorable and Comrade Imari, Local Authority of Ongwediva, His Worship the Mayor, we would like to appreciate your hospitality and your town and the region. It is so beautiful. It made us and all the visitors to feel at home. To the accommodation facilities and business people are all recognized in this message of appreciation. For providing us with clean and healthy accommodation, beverages, and transport. Fellow ladies and gentlemen, we extend our sincere wish, good luck to the current trainees in all TVETs in Namibia in their future endeavors. The skills they are embarking on is a reality. We are their examples. They should follow, which we are already delivering services within our respective regions and the country at large. The World Skill Namibia must not lose focus. The spirit must prevail in the team. We really appreciate your brilliant idea of initiating a skill competence-based competition across the globe. This initiative has put Namibia on the map for the past 2 years. This competition also offered TVET graduates an opportunity to see a brighter future. We really appreciate this notable cause of integrating talented and skilled graduates to showcase their creations. Namibia Training Authority, in particular, you are a real life changer. We want to pay back what you gave to us by responding to national demands in industrial development. We thank you so much for recognizing us and remembering us in your thoughts. You fill our dreams, you opened our doors to success. Our promise to you is we will be always available for you at any time. To the distinguished presenters that presented us with very important and notable information, you taught us a lot about what's going on around us. Our response to you is we are going to address the national challenges and continental with positive response. To the media team, you are the heartbeat of this ending event. You linked us and exposed us to the world through telecommunication and digital connection. To the paramedics, thank you for being on standby, and the security staff from private and government institutions, job well done for keeping us safe. We wish you all a safe journey back to your respective homes. God bless us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. I was informed that there will be a second graduate wanting to give back, just one? Okay. And at that point, I'm laughing because, the feeling of, no, the feeling of being scared of breaking this thing, eh? Like now there goes the sale. On that point and that note, I would call Dr. Nanda to come and give us a blessing, because we cannot get to the end without the blessings of the Godfather of TVET. Round of applause.
Yeah, good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, colleagues. Yeah, it was quite a very long conference, a conference that we have dedicated 3 days. I must say, we are inspired by your commitment and dedication that you have demonstrated to be here until this afternoon. I want us to really give ourselves a hand of applause. Although it is not my responsibility to extend a vote of thanks, allow me just to congratulate the conference organizers for having organized such a stunning event. Let's give them a hand of applause. When we opened up the ceremony, the conference, I briefly reflected on the outcomes of this conference as captured in the program. And I want to summarize them again and to repeat them just for us to really have a reflection and to understand whether our expectations were achieved during the past 3 days. The first objective dealt with increased awareness of potential employment opportunities in the emerging sectors. Mr. Schut's presentation was very clear. The presentation on green hydrogen and all these presentations really responded in addressing this particular outcome. Also, we needed to create awareness and to enhance our understanding on the fourth industrial revolutions, their technologies and development, and how the youth can tap in this in order to improve their employability. You will agree with me that this objective was also achieved. The third objective was to identify strategies and mechanisms to provide financial aid and support for TVET graduates. I know that this was one of the hottest topics yesterday. I believe there are still some hanging issues around this topic that we need to address, because there are still barriers that would allow graduates to acquire funding from our financial institutions. And my appeal was, let's walk the talk. Let's eradicate all these unnecessary barriers that we are putting in place to really ensure that we support our graduates to start their own enterprises. I was so passionate about what I've seen yesterday from the inmates who are competing here. And I asked them, when are you going to be released? They said, next month, I'll be a free man. I asked them, what are you going to do? I'm going to look for a job. I'm going to look for employment. I said, my brother, with these skills, don't go and look for a job. Start your own business. And he said, where am I going to get money to start business? Mind you, if you come out of prison, there is this negative negativity attached to you. You are a criminal. Why should I employ you? You are a criminal. This person served his sentence. He was rehabilitated. He acquired skills. And he needs to be reintegrated into society. We need to support these people. And my appeal to the financial institutions is to also look after these people. Don't ask them, where have you been working the last 5 years? Don't ask them these questions, because the person was in jail. He was being rehabilitated. See how best you can support this person. Of course, for him or her to be supported, you must have a business plan. We need to find ways and mechanisms to support them. Promotion of entrepreneurship within the TVET ecosystem, resulting in increased job creation or innovation. This is innovation. We had 28 entrepreneurs here, and they shared very, very inspiring stories. Very inspiring stories. And I believe our graduates must follow their examples. We have a very, very high unemployment rate in the country, estimated to be around 50% for the youth. For the youth. And equally also, graduates, people who have completed degrees, technical skills, and they are sitting at home. They must emulate what others have done. Start small, crawl, walk, and run. That's the only way how you can succeed in life. Strengthen partnerships and collaboration for sustainable youth. Yes, we need to join hands with the private sector and all industries to achieve this objective. It is common cause that many a times we come to these nice conferences, and when we go back to our workstations, we revert back to business as usual. We revert back to business as usual. I must share with you, brothers and sisters, that we should take these conferences as a learning exercise. When we go back to our respective institutions, businesses, we need to rethink and to change the ways we are doing business. Finally, I would like to congratulate our conference presenters for a wonderful and a job well done, for sharing their insights with us. Let us give them a hand of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to conclude our conference, I wish you all the best. I believe we have some takeaways that we have gathered during the past 3 days. Please let me encourage you so that we go and implement what we have learned during the past 3 days. I thank you very much.
All right. At this point, I will call upon the vice chairperson or deputy chairperson of the Namibia Skills Competition Ongwediva of 2023, Ms. Lahia. Ms. Lahia Andreas, to come and give a vote of thanks. And please, so that we can finally go for cocktails. But please, before you get to the cocktails, keep yourself awake and your vision clean by at least walking around and seeing how our competitors are doing. And do not forget to pass by the NamPower store there and check how my competitor, my former World Skills competitor, is doing. He's also presenting automation, whatnot there. So he's a representative of the graduates. He's also a graduate like you. So just check out what other graduates are doing. This was done by a graduate, so please. Ms. Lahia?
Good afternoon, dear delegates. How is the energy? Okay. Esteemed stakeholders, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, when I was entrusted with this task to deliver the speech, I initially thought to myself, this is the easiest task that I can do. I imagined simply stepping up to the podium, waiting for the applause to subside, clearing my throat and saying thank you all for the well job done. Little did I know that my task was far more substantial than I had envisioned. I realized the magnitude of my responsibility. I found myself needing to put the cherry on the cake, tie the knot, and of course ensure the plane has safely grounded. I have been tasked to, on behalf of the organizing committee and stakeholder of National Skills Competition Ongwediva 2023 event, to register our heartfelt gratitude to all those who have contributed to this TVET conference. Indeed, this conference has made an impact, and as such, it can rightly be considered an important milestone in our ongoing and joint effort to strengthen and transform technical and vocational training in our beloved motherland. We express our gratitude to the following stakeholders and role players. First and foremost, a special word of appreciation to our line minister, Honorable Dr. Ita Kanji Morangi, as well as our newly appointed Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, Honorable Natalia Kwakosis, for their participation and support. Honorable Minister and Honorable Deputy Minister, we appreciate and value your assistance. We trust that you will continue to drive our country's technical vocational education and training sector to the shores of excellence through your guidance and insight. Secondly, our special gratitude goes to Oshana region and of course to Ongwediva town. Thank you very much, Oshana Governor, Honorable Elia Irimari, and Ongwediva Mayor, Your Worship Tara Shalyefu, for hosting us and for making us all feel at home. You have been excellent hosts. We thank you for your active participation, support, and hospitality. In the third instance, we recognize the support of our supporters, our sponsors and partners. Indeed, the generous support of supporters and sponsors has supplemented our coordinated effort and investment in making not only this conference, but the entire National Skills Competition 2023 event a reality. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Your investment is an investment in our country's most important resources, its youth. Our sincere gratitude goes to all our esteemed presenters, both national and international, for making time in their very busy schedules to participate in our conference. It goes without saying that without your meaningful backing, this endeavor would not have come to an achievement. So thank you so much. We thank you for sharing your expertise, your knowledge, and your insights. Thank you for your patience, your impactful presentation, your tactic, and in dealing with questions and in your participation in the discussions. It is such appreciated. Dr. Deborah Marchart, the Executive Strategic Planning, Performance and Reporting, WASERTA, and your team. A special thank you for traveling all the way from South Africa to come and be with us during our National Skills Competition 2023 in Ongwediva. Your contribution was so immense. Ladies and gentlemen, the next gratitude goes to the invaluable contribution of our facilitators and rapporteurs. Facilitating discussions and capturing the essence thereof in a manner that is efficient and effective are often easier than done. You have acquitted yourself. And while there's still some work to be done, especially in terms of compiling and validating our final conference report, we thank you very much for your contribution. We also recognize the electronic and print media. We appreciate and value your coverage of our proceedings, and we look forward to you continuing to inform the country at large about the good work we are doing in consultation with our development partners in uplifting our country's TVET sector. Our special gratitude further goes to the following: the audiovisual technical team, who has ensured our proceedings was streamed live on the World Skills Namibia Facebook page, ensuring that we reach the wider audience. The catering team, in ensuring that our participants remained nourished and sustained throughout the event. The transport team, in ensuring that participants were picked and dropped off at key destinations in an efficient and punctual manner. The marketing team, who ensured that we had a program designed and printed and that awareness about our proceedings was generated. Our TVET graduates, thank you so much. We thank you for sharing your powerful real story and testimonies. We also would like to thank the mental wellness team for ensuring that our competitors and every one of us mind has been put at ease. You have done an exceptional job, so thank you so much for working so hard behind the scenes to make this conference a success. Esteemed delegates, lastly, allow me to recognize the effort of all those project team members that have worked so hard behind the scenes to make all this possible. It hasn't been an easy task, but under the able leadership of our subcommittee chairperson, Mr. Ndongo, this team has been able to deliver against expectations. Please join me in giving them a well-deserved round of applause as they are taking the stage. Organizing committee, Mr. Ndongo and your team, can you please come on the stage so that the audience can see who was really behind this event? Okay, I will mention them name by name as they are coming. Mr. Ndongo is the chairperson, the manager, research and planning, NTA. Yours truly, Lahia Magano Andreas, is I stand here, the deputy chairperson, manager, talent management, NTA. Mr. Erastus Shanengwa, a member and secretary, industry skills committee, secretarial, NTA, that is now in absentia. Mr. Amon Haufiko, a member, and he's an acting general manager, TVET Transformation and VTC's Development, NTA. Ms. Rosa Shimoshili, she's a volunteer, registration administrator, NTA. Mr. Francois Strauss, he's a member, manager, registration, monitoring and support, NTA. Ms. Matilda Shipapo, volunteer, head of trainee support, Nakale VTC, NTA. Dr. Lisha Mundea, member, director, research and innovation, Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation. Ms. Katrina Newa, specialist, NTA. Ms. Maretta Simanga, volunteer, work integrated learning administrator, NTA, in absentia. Ms. Elizabeth Timbo, volunteer, printing and distribution officer, NTA. Last but not least, Ms. Zita Shinana, volunteer, office administration, Valombola VTC, NTA. Colleagues, that was actually the committee member that has prepared the success of this event. I believe the rest of the team are still engaged with other activities back at the office or information center. You may be seated for now. Director of Ceremonies, as I conclude, allow me to underline the importance of the assignment we faced and deliberation we have had over the courses of this conference. In line with our overarching theme, we needed to consider and recommend solutions to the unemployment challenges of our country. We needed to come up with recommendations on how we could re-engineer and reinvent our TVET system towards enhanced sustainability. We needed to find innovative solutions to the challenges we face. We also needed to evaluate and take stock of the work that we do. And above all, we needed to foster cooperation, grow partnerships and collaboration for sustainable youth development among aspiring entrepreneurs, industry enablers, including funding facilities, educational institutions, and government institutions. Did we deliver on these expectations? In my considered opinion, I think we did. Why I say so? Because of the spirit of constructive engagement that has been hallmark of these 3 days. It has been a platform where we valued the learning from different inputs, listened to get smarter, a platform where we sought first to understand, then to be understood. A platform where we appreciated that blame or judgment will take just as further from a solution, not closer. And I think that we all, as TVET conference participants, we deserve a word round of applause for these outcomes. Way forward from here, a comprehensive report including highlights of the TVET conference will be shared when finalized. And we see you to the next or at the next TVET conference in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much once again for your participation and support. We thank you and wish you travel mercies to your respective destinations. Goodbye and God bless you. Okay, pardon me, before I leave the stage, I was informed by the Director of Ceremonies or Proceedings that we shall raise so that we can sing the national anthem as well as the AU anthem.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. Oh, sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the star, let us make Africa the tree of life. Namibia, land of the brave freedom fight, we have won. Glory to their bravery, whose blood waters our freedom. We give our love and loyalty, together in unity. Contrasting beautiful Namibia, Namibia, our country, beloved land of savannas, hold high the banner of liberty. Namibia, our country, Namibia, motherland, we love thee.
I thank you.
Just one last announcement, colleagues. So all the presentations will be sent to you on the email addresses that you have shared with us. And the best part of today, o cocktail, iliponje.